No, we've got a couple in the room here, so we'll go in the room and then come online after.
You go first, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Harry, what do you need to beat Ireland tomorrow?
We need to be a very disciplined team. We need to go out there and put ourselves in the right position on the field, and then when we get in the A zone, we've got to be accurate. We know how accurate Ireland is. We know they like playing with the ball for long phases, so we have to be really good defensively, and obviously set piece wise, we have to step up there too. It's a really exciting battle we have ahead of ourselves.
How much is energy a key here? To kind of find the energy that you need when you're on tour for a long time, playing the matches, all that sort of stuff, trying to separate them and then go again for a specific game.
Yeah, energy's massive. You need to be top of the energy for big test matches like Ireland. Team being number one in the world for a couple of years ago, and I think world number 3 now. So we know we've got such a massive game ahead of ourselves, and we've had a really good week. There's been a lot of excitement in the group coming into this game. It's a game we're all really excited for. Obviously, there's a few familiar faces from earlier in the year for us who we get to have another opportunity to verse. So it's the energy's been really good this week, and I guess we're near the end of our tour. So I think the boys know there's a couple more weeks to empty the tank for.
I was going to ask you about the analysis room, cutting short the analysis given how many players you played against during the summer, but do you see anything different in what you've seen over Ireland's first couple of matches against New Zealand and Japan?
Yeah, well, I guess there's definitely a few more changes in the back line to what I guess we are used to. And we've watched those last 2 games pretty closely. They've got quite a big centre combo this week, and they've picked quite a big back row too, which is a bit different than how they normally play. So something we've definitely paid attention to, and we'll be ready for those and prepared for them.
Plenty of insights from Joe, in a general sense. What is a lot of the former players he'd know very, very well. So
yeah, Joe's always across it all, so he's always giving us any heads up we need. But I guess we prepared for Ireland last year at a similar time, and then the British Irish Lions played some pretty similar footy to the way Ireland plays. So I feel like we're a team who's quite prepared for this, and we've all been across our detail. But when you have someone like Joe giving us a few more pointers, you're definitely always listening.
thank you.
And Harry, I know Len was in here the other day, kind of referred to you as one of the players who've kind of been reinvigorated since Joe came into the job. I suppose what has he done? What do you feel he's done for you as a player in his time with Australia?
Yeah, I feel as if Joe's just made me improve as a footballer. He's always trying to help you improve. He's always giving you ways to improve, and he gives you a lot of confidence to go out there and express yourself and play the best style of footy you can. And when you have belief from a coach, someone who really believes in you, it really gives you a lot of confidence to go out in the field and perform.
I know I mentioned the back row. Obviously, Jack Coleman, number 8. Obviously, he would have played every game in the Lions test as well. I suppose. What are your kind of impressions of him? What are you expecting? What kind of challenge are you expecting from him? I guess tomorrow.
Yeah, he's a really good ball carrier, strong ball carrier, which we definitely felt during that Lions series, and he's quite good in the line out too. He's got a good jump on him, so I think he'll definitely help their line out, having him in there starting. And then when you have a player like Caelan Doris move to 7, they're going to have a lot of good ball carriers in that back row. So that's a real big match point for us, where our back row is going to have to step up and try and stop them there, because they've obviously picked quite a big one. But I think it's always exciting when you get to go up against 3 quality back rows.
I suppose James O'Connor coming back in this week. I suppose how much of an impact has he made? Obviously, someone with a huge amount of experience.
Yeah, James is awesome. When he comes in, he's just got that confidence. The moment he walks in, and he's been really good for us this week. Obviously, from after a couple of tough weeks, he's came in, brought a bit of energy, a lot of confidence, and a lot of belief that he can go out there and perform for us. And we've had a really good week's preparation. We've trained well. We've got everything out of training we wanted. So we feel like we're in our best position to go out there and perform. And James has been a big reason for that too.
I know you've obviously Alan Alatola in the front row. I suppose has brother Michael been given any tips about it? Because obviously he was obviously playing here in Leinster for a good few years, so I suppose I'm sure he'd have a few insights for him. I'm sure as well.
Yeah, I'm sure Alan would be using Michael for any little heads up you can get. Obviously, the front row scrum tactics, it's something I don't really understand, but they all understand, so I'm sure we'd be hitting up Michael for that. But it's just great to have Alan back. He's such a leader in our group. He's such a good player. He leads from the front. He's physical, loves set piece, and really wants to give a set piece dominance. So to welcome him back in such a massive test, it's really exciting for us.
I suppose how much will it do for the confidence, like to get a win against such a big, kind of like it's a top four nation like Ireland there, I guess, as well.
Yeah, it'd give us a lot of confidence. I feel as if we're really we're really excited for the game to go out here and try and perform. It's we've had a tough couple of weeks, and we know how good of a team Ireland is, and if we go out here, perform and get a result, it would really put us in a better sort of way going into our last game against France.
Thank you.
Johnny, Nath, did you have anything online for Harry?
Yeah, a couple from me to start with. Harry, I guess when you look at that game against Italy, I think the discipline ultimately proved the difference. You look at series, like card and the four penalties. How much has that been a focus this week? And I guess both as a team and as an individual, I think you were sort of on the wrong end 2 or 3 times there.
Yeah, it's obviously always a focus to be well disciplined. I think sometimes where we're putting ourselves on the field can make it really tough for us discipline wise. I think we've got to be better at putting ourselves in the right position in the field, and it can definitely help us with our discipline. But it's always a focus. I think we've haven't been going to rub with the green over the last few weeks, and I think with rugby you never know when it can change. So we just got to put ourselves in the right position, have ball in hand, and I'm sure we'll be fine.
How do you reflect on that game against Ireland 12 months ago when you were, I think, 10 minutes away from taking that win? And I guess, can you draw on anything of just how sort of game plans work then in terms of how you try and shape up for this one?
Yeah, we definitely looked at how we played against them last year, and we've looked at some of the areas where we exposed them, and that's definitely in the forefront of our mind. But in saying that, a lot's changed over the last 12 months, and I think they're a better team, and I think we're a better team too. So both teams are trying to improve, and we feel like we versed these players quite a lot over the last year. We know them well, which gives us a lot of confidence going into this game, and more importantly, we've had a really good week's prep. We've done everything we wanted to give us confidence to go out there and perform on Saturday night.
Because there's been a couple of players that come in and said some of the things of how sharp training was. From a captain's perspective, was there something sort of said at the start? Like, what gave you the inkling, or not the inkling, but the sort of that similar experience where you've sort of noticed that they are particularly up for this game?
I think after a few disappointing performances, there's definitely a bit more spice around the group wanting to go out there and get a big result. And when you had, I guess, Lenny, Alan, James O'Connor back into it, you had a little bit more polish there too, who were fresh, just wanting to be out there and training well, and feel as if they really lifted all the boys, and we all went with them. And as I said, we're having a good week at training's good, but it's about us going out there and performing Saturday night.
Thanks, Harry.
Thank you.
Harry, I was just wondering, personally, with discipline, it's obviously you were getting pinged quite a lot. How do you, as a captain, deal with that? Because obviously you're a captain that leads from the front, and then with your teammates, you're basically telling them, right, you've got to be disciplined. How do you approach that when you're in a game and you're maybe getting on the wrong side of the ref for whatever reason, but you've got to tell the boys, right, we've got to shape up. How have you been approaching that leading up to Ireland, Harry?
Yeah, not really hard. If you look at the few of the ways Walla being penalised is getting thrown across in a line out, or going around to the side in the maul where it's real 50-50. So I don't really feel as if I can control all that, to be honest. I'm just the guy who gets caught out, which if you're aware at set piece, there is always one person who does get thrown across the line out can be the one to be in trouble. So firstly, I'm not really worried about my own discipline. I just want to keep trying to lead from the front. Obviously, it'd be great to give away no penalties, but when you're under the pump, teams are on you and you're trying to get the ball back, sometimes you might lose those 50-50s when they're on top of you. So obviously it'd be great to be given away 0 penalties and being able to, everything I say is shown, but for me, I try and fix up as much as I can, but sometimes it is what it is.
In terms of breaking the gain line, you're a guy who relentless in his carries, top carrier against Italy. Bobby was up yesterday and talked about, like, personally he wasn't happy with where he is. I mean, there's such an onus on the back row to really lead the charge and break that gain line. Just wondering personally for you, what are your thoughts on that in terms of just giving that punch? Because we know you're relentless in the carry, but just getting over.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to get over the advantage line when there's people running angles off you and there's a fly half out the back wanting the ball. it creates a lot of doubt in the other team, and I guess the more of that, the more connected we are as a team, the easier it is to get over the game line. So something we've worked on as a squad this week to make sure we got a lot of live options, so it's not just one man running.
And Harry, again, like after Italy, brutally difficult. You know, you've been in these situations before when you've been able to collectively as a unit lift the group. Can you just take us inside Ireland, harnessing that hurt? I know how much it means for you all to play for your country. It's going to be 6:30 in the morning back home. A lot of people watching you. Can you just take us through like that journey from harnessing that energy to really wanting to put in a huge performance here?
Yeah, well, I guess there was a lot of hurt after that game. It really did hurt. It hurt the whole squad a lot, but we've taken our learnings from that. Italy are a really good team, and they gave us some harsh lessons in that game. And from there, when we got to training on the training field on Tuesday, that was in the past, and we're all about moving forward, which is Ireland this weekend. And so we've had a really good week's prep. We're all really excited. We feel like we're in a good position to go out there and perform, and that everything we've been able to control this week, we've controlled well, and now it's about us going out and perform.
Thanks so much, Harry.
Thanks all. Appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Back in the starting lineup at 15, I heard Joe saying you had a wee bout of tonsillitis. Just how are you feeling at the moment? And yeah, just take us through what going on there.
Yeah, good to be back in the team first of all. Very excited to play this weekend. But yeah, started last week and back into the week before that was a bit under the weather, had a bit of tonsillitis, so was battling that a bit, and then by the end of last week came real good and feeling much better now.
You're in at fullback. How comfortable are you going to be there? You know, against the Irish, rather than Northern.
Yeah, it's good to be back at 15. I played a lot of it obviously when I was younger and played a fair bit of it at TARS. So yeah, I'm feeling comfy. Had a good training week this week and ready to go.
You against England, it was a tough day for everybody, but I think the stats where you carried the ball maybe once or twice. Does it help you being at 15, just being really more of a focal point of that attack, getting involved more?
Yeah, it's definitely easy to get involved as a fullback, but over the past couple of weeks we haven't been at our best and haven't been in our attack, spreading the ball out wide and doing what we usually do. So we've been working on that over the last 2 weeks, and we really know that we haven't been at our best for these past 2 games, and we're really looking to switch that up this weekend.
What can you put that down to, Max? Because we know what this team is capable of. Yourself, all that back line, attack. What do you put it down to personally as somebody who's got the best view of it?
It's hard to put it down to one thing. I think that sometimes happens in footy. But it's how you bounce back from those situations. Obviously we know that's not our game, so it's how we're looking to bounce back from those 2 games and really focus on this weekend and next week.
We saw a couple of weeks ago actually, Stan Sport, they did a piece with your father, just talking about how much it means to him to have your Wallaby debut and watching you. That must be something so powerful for you every time you wear this national jumper, knowing that friends and family are watching you back home.
Yeah, it's so special. It's such a good feeling to be able to share that with my dad. He's obviously played for the Wallabies, and then to be able to wear the Wallabies jersey as well that he's done. It's very special, and it's just something I'll cherish forever.
Does he give you tips? Does he get you on the phone and give you a few rundowns and notes?
Definitely a lot when I was younger. Not so much now, but here and there he likes to help me out a bit.
I did an interview with your good friend Joseph Akusu-Sualihi, and he was saying one thing about you which is great, is your ability to stay calm, measured. Is that something you've developed? Because this team is under pressure, but just that mindset where you can just stay on job, also maybe switch off and enjoy. For example, you're in a wonderful city in Dublin. Is that something you've developed, or have you always been like that?
I feel like I've always been a bit like that. Always like to bring it back to, it's just at the end of the day, it's just a footy field, a couple of lines on it, some posts, and I just like to think when I was younger, just playing for the fun of it. So that's what I sort of like to bring it back to, and I think that really, it really keeps me measured and keeps me going.
Can I just ask about James O'Connor now coming in, how you both feel or what he adds to the team, do you think? Bobby?
I think he adds a lot of voice. First of all, I think he's out there talking and he's giving us directions as well as a forward pack as well. So, and I think you look around the team and sort of see the experience that he has, and that sort of gives you confidence that you got someone like Rabs out there with you, and he'll be able to use the ball well, and I guess use our forwards well, and then our backs as well, giving them the ball and giving the ball to someone like Jorgo as well. So
there's a lot of faith that he can read the game as to how you think it should be read.
Yeah, well, I think that comes with experience and how many games he's played at this level, and he's got a wealth of knowledge and a lot of experience, and when he talks, the boys listen. So I think his ability to use the ball and I think talk with the forwards and backs, I think to put everyone on the same page, I think that's probably something that you get from Rabs.
Max, when would the last time be that you played with James and you were in fullback?
It would have been against New Zealand not too long ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In terms of James coming in, can you also talk about just culturally? Because you could obviously the disappointment coming from Udini flying back. Just wondering, maybe from both of you, he's a positive character. How does that help just freshen up the group as well? Just having that new voice, a cooler head maybe as well.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. Especially this week. The whole team sort of turned up to training on Tuesday, and a lot of bangs going around. Boys have been turning up this week, which is pretty awesome. I think we all felt pretty bad after the Italian game, and we always say it's a squad mentality, and the whole squad really ripped in this week through training, and we're hoping that can transfer to the weekend, and obviously Rev's has been a part of that as well. So
you're one of the team's elite ball carriers. How, at your best, probably the best in the world, if not one of them, how have you judged your own performance over the last couple of tests, Bobby?
Yeah, I think it's been up to my standards, and I've just been trying to find my way in. I feel like this week, Tuesday and Thursday, have been really good, and as a team, I feel like we put a lot of things good, a lot of things together this week, and like I said, I hope we can transfer what we've done this week onto the field.
Please.
From what we see at training, because we're only there the first few minutes, but it does seem like the mood has lifted enormously, which surprised me after losing the last two games. What's happened to make that shift?
I think our connection is probably one of our strongest things that we have going in our team. I think everyone's well connected and we all get along really well, and I think the last 2 weeks haven't gone our way, and we sort of had to let go of that to focus on Ireland. So we've sort of turned the page there and turned up the training Monday, Tuesday, even today, and boys have been humming. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully it transfers to the field and we can put out a good performance for our fans. And
are you able to harness that emotion, because there has been criticism back in Australia of the team, of in fact Joe, and really putting in a performance for him? Both of you have played some amazing football under him. Is that something the team can harness as well, just putting that in for Joe?
Yeah, definitely. Joe's been great for us over these past 2 years, and really turned the team around from what it was before that. And I think as you said, we can really harness that and send him off on a high with these last two games, especially against Ireland. He's old coach, so as you said, it's something we can definitely harness and put in a good shift for Joe.
Has he given you any insider tips about Ireland? He knows them pretty well. Has he kind of shared any little secret messages they might have?
Yeah, he has, but I can't give those away.
So what did you both, great city, sorry about the weather yesterday, but what did you both get up to yesterday? I mean, that's one of the best things about being a Wallaby. Must be phenomenal. You could go to another city and kids know who you are and all those kind of things. Like, just tell us how it's been, on your day off yesterday. What did you get up to?
Yeah, I guess it's the perks of the job, getting to travel around the world and explore different cities. So yesterday I actually didn't get up to too much. I went into town, I got a spice bag for the first time.
Oh wow!
Yeah, really got into the culture here, so I enjoyed that. But yeah, to be honest, not too much. I was pretty tired after our Tuesday training, so parked up in bed for a bit, and that's about it.
What are you, Bobby?
Yeah, same. Just headed into town for lunch and just a bit of sightseeing, but yeah, not too much. It was same as Jorg, a bit tired from Tuesday session.
Can you take us into that Tuesday session? Because, as I say, we weren't privy to see it, but sometimes I suppose after a defeat, if that physicality lifts and there's a bit of niggle in the right way, it's actually a good thing. I mean, Carlo Cesano's back. I'm sure he's just itching to go. Can you just take us into because ball carrying has been an issue. Did you feel the physicality lifted, Bobby, in training?
Yeah, really did. Yeah, like I said before, like it's a full squad mentality, and I thought, the boys that aren't playing really lifted this week and really stepped up, and I guess laid a platform for us to see. I guess the boys that aren't picked, they've been training well this whole year, and that's set up success for us the whole year. We're able to see pitches during the week, and then we're able to see that on Saturday as well, and I guess put things together. So yeah, definitely, I thought a lot of the boys stepped up this week, and yeah, it was a really tough session.
The other thing is to say this game is one of the few games where the majority of people in Australia who want to see it will be able to see it. I think it starts at 6:30 a.m. Balmain, Melbourne. There'll be people up watching this. There's also big expat community. They travel, they pay money. What does that mean? Balmain Wolves, or growing up Harlequins, I think probably in Melbourne.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Just that those kids are watching you and representing your country.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty special feeling knowing that we have that support back home, and we all know we want to put on a good performance for our fans back home, and obviously the last 2 weeks haven't been good enough. So we're looking to really turn that around this weekend and give something to fans that they can wake up for, and really enjoy watching us play footy.
Max, you've obviously got a big decision to make in the future. Is that something that you're completely parking at the moment, and that's for next year, or is that something that you're still considering really where your future is going to end after the contract?
Yeah, for the moment, just sort of focusing on these last 2 games of the year, because at the end of the day, the footy comes first, and my performance and the team's performance comes first. So yeah, at the moment, focusing on my footy.
Thanks so much, Hal.
Sorry, just one thing. What have you made of Ireland's start to the November internationals that haven't really hit the heights that many fans here would have wanted?
Yeah, I thought it was good. Watched the game against the All Blacks. They were leading there for a bit, and then what was it, the last 10 minutes or so, the All Blacks came back. So yeah, look, Ireland, they've only lost 2 games this year, including the All Blacks there. So yeah, they had a great win last week as well. So they'll definitely be coming out this Saturday, I think.
And then can you really take much from the Lions tour in the summer? I know a lot of the players and the coaching staff are part of the team that you're going to face this weekend, or is it more just each team at a time? Like are you putting the connection between the Lions and Ireland this weekend?
Yeah, it definitely helps having going up against them earlier in the year. We definitely didn't play all the Irish players, but we played most of them. So it's good to get sort of get that in and sort of helps us get to know the players a bit better. But I think week to week, obviously it's a different team, so they're doing different things. So we sort of focus more on just watching Ireland.
Joe, James O'Connor starting. He was in Morocco on his holidays during the Italy week. What was it that you've seen to really give him the start? And also, can you give us a bit of an update on Carter Gordon?
Yeah, you would have seen Carter in the game. He pulled up immediately after making a kick. His quad cramped up, and we just think it's a bit of a risk to put him back out there this week. So that ruled Carter out. So it left us with Tane and that's one of the reasons we brought James back in. And Tane's had he's had quite a busy schedule in recent times. We've tried to get some freshness into the squad. There's a bit of wear and tear, to be honest, and James he just brings a bit of freshness. As you mentioned, he was away on holiday in Morocco, so he's a little bit fresher, and we're hoping that kind of gives us a bit of a bounce into the game.
Are there any regrets with not bringing him in earlier? I know you've only got to look forward, or do you think actually that break in Morocco, it's worked well for all parties, he's come back?
Yeah, I guess, hindsight's a wonderful thing. I guess we've tried to have foresight in where we need to be in a couple of years and what we need to deliver this Saturday, and so that's always been the equation. And I'm not even good at maths, so I've got a number of equations wrong in my time, and so I do definitely feel that Tane is improving. He's growing in confidence as well, and it's just it's been unlucky with Carter that he's just had a couple of niggles that haven't quite allowed him to get the repetition of training and games.
And then just some more injury updates. Taniela obviously drops out of the squads. Just wondering about him, Dylan Peach as well. I know he was managing, he was a bit off colour, just those two players.
Yeah, Peachy is coming back. He trained fully today, but that's probably the first time he's trained fully, just coming back. And Max Jorgensen had a bit of tonsillitis, and he was a bit the same. So Max last week was a little bit under the weather, and he's bounced back this week. So it is good in terms of getting freshness there. And Taniela, he's had a decent workload as well. And Alan is he's the fresh guy in. So we're hopeful that, with his experience and leadership, Alan can really help us as well.
Joe, how do you find the balance between depth, which you're trying to build for your successor in 2027, and this market in Australia, which demands results, it demands success, balancing the short term against the long term? How are you managing that?
You can only commit to what you're trying to achieve, and so I've learned a long time ago you can't please all the people all the time, and we've got to build some depth. I feel like that strength and depth, if you don't have it, you're too vulnerable, and so some of it is almost preordained because we didn't have players available to us for the England game or the Japan game from the Northern Hemisphere, and then at the same time we made 12 changes for the Japan game to give opportunity and for guys to put their hands up, and the England game, obviously, again, we're once sort of 10-7 down with 3/4 of the game done, and they get away on us. But I do feel that that bench they brought on with 6 Lions, there wasn't quite the same experience that we had coming off the bench. But how do you learn and how do you get better? I think the only way to do it is in the arena, and at some stage you've got to trust everyone in your squad. If you've selected them, then they have to be ready for whatever is demanded of them once they put on a test jersey. So it's a balance that I don't think anyone gets right all the time. Even some of those countries with really, really good depth, who can replace player for player without any observable kind of dilution of what they can deliver.
Joe, just last question from me. You've been in this city many times before and experienced the hype, but you've also been in this city and you've experienced significant pressure. Start with Leinster, there were times with Ireland. How have you been managing this week yourself? Like coming in, defeat against England, defeat against Italy. How have you been managing that yourself, and also bringing this group back up to where they have been in the past?
Yeah, I take it pretty hard when we lose, and even I take it pretty hard when we don't play to our potential, because that's all we can control. Sometimes a team, because some of these teams are so good, sometimes they're just better than we are on the day, even though on the day we've delivered a good performance. So yeah, it is tough, and you're emotionally connected to the job. It's it's one of those privileges of being so invested in something, but it's also a blight when things don't go well. So it's not something that I'm not unfamiliar with now. I'm familiar enough with those periods of pressure where things haven't gone right, and all you can do is just keep working as best you can. As I said, we've tried to refresh the group in the front end of this week. Not training Monday, a really good day on Wednesday. Our friends at Port Marnock let the boys on for a hit, and they weren't the only golf club. There was a couple of them where the boys managed to get themselves out there, and Dublin turned on the weather for them, and they were only out in the morning, thankfully, because the afternoon wasn't quite the same. And again, we trained in ideal conditions, albeit we had to swap venues. Wanderers were super to us, but Blackrock College, really big appreciation to them for opening up at the last minute. 10:47, we made the decision last night that we Wanderers was just too sodden, and Blackrock were very quick to invite us, and the training pitch was first rate. So, as a Tirranua man, that was a really big favour, I feel. So.
Joe, watching the proceedings today, some Collingwood coaches in the AFL, are they there to observe? What is it that they would be learning from you? But also, is it an exchange that you're also learning from them? And I'm thinking the high ball and aerial play, actually.
There was nothing skill specific like that. It was more around squad management, squad rotation, keeping players motivated. How do you set up your week? So we had a great discussion with them and our coaching staff. So they had they had their coaching coordinator, they had their kind of high performance director and CEO. So they had a mix, and Chris, obviously, Craig, their head coach. But our coaches, we just exchanged a few thoughts, and then they observed training. It's not too different. I remember in 2014 we had Mick Malthouse in our group in the lead up to a South African test here, and we've also had Craig Bellamy and Frank Panisi from league. So that was going back a long time ago. But that cross pollination of ideas, I always really enjoy it, and you're a little bit challenged, but they ask questions, and you've got to maybe just reflect a little bit to say, oh, this is why we do it, and this is how it hopefully will work.
Big game for Tirranua this weekend.
Mary's, Derby.
Your connections probably helped in terms of getting that set up in Blackrock. Have you had a chance to meet anyone else, or is this purely flat out business?
I had a good coffee with Mick Carney yesterday. We had some of Keith Earls's coffee, actually. It was very nice. And there's always a little bit of banter, catching up with Roy Best tomorrow. And there's been quite a few. I've caught up with a bit of family. My brother lives in Blackrock. My son is back living in Churchtown now after a few years in Melbourne. So I caught up with the family on Tuesday for a bit of dinner, and that's part of the balance as well. To go back to your question, Johnny, how do you cope with pressure? Well, family's always a great kind of distraction and opportunity to just be able to step outside the bubble you're in, which can be, can eat away at you a little bit, and breathe for a few hours.
What have you made of Ireland's form the last couple of weekends?
I think there's some really good glimpses. Not too many teams play 20 minutes without a player, and they're ahead of the All Blacks, even after 60 minutes, because those 20 minutes take it out of you. We played a test recently against the All Blacks and lost a player for 10 minutes and then another player for 10 minutes, and those 20 minutes, while you might not lose those two 10-minute blocks, you lose a bit of fuel in the tank, because they're always going to stretch you at the back end of the game, And so, you know, I felt in that game that as a consequence of that made the back end certainly a bit tougher. And then, you know, Japan, I'm not saying too much about Japan because we struggled with them, albeit with 12 changes. They also made a few changes, and I look at some of the guys who've been selected for this game and were selected last week, and there's some very good boys coming through. I think, you know, young Paddy McCarthy. You know, disappointing for Joe that he's not there, not disappointing for us that he's not there, but then they've still got James Ryan and Tyke Byrne. Like, it's not exactly an opportunity to get anything less than a very, very good side. So, yeah, I think teams have been, I guess it was evident in the England game where teams kind of try to keep a bit of a balance of what they start with and what they finish with in terms of the strength and depth of squads, and that's something that I think Ireland have the luxury of as well.
We're expecting 9 changes, and what do you make of Mac Hansen at fullback?
Yeah, Mac's got a really good skill set. I know there's high trust in his ability, and I just thought with Jamie Osborne getting injured last week, I think he's a really exciting player. Obviously, there's a few progeny around, isn't there? Like the McCarthys, the Osbornes, that where you've got the Prendergasts, you know, with Sam back in, and Ken is really coming on. So, yeah, I think those changes, they weren't totally unexpected, Jerry. I think there's a real mix there, but I think it's a really strong side, and obviously, one of the things that we weren't sure about was Josh van der Fleer fit, and was Gary Ringrose fit, because they are two absolute standouts, obviously British and Irish Lions players, but when they're not fit, you know, I thought Stu McCloskey looked really good in that first half against New Zealand, and I know just what a big body he is. It's a headache for our boys to solve, and I just know how good Robbie Henshaw is, and so it's not like, as I said, it's not like you lose a whole lot with those guys being out. And Bundy on the bench, geez, he still packs a punch, Bundy. So yeah, I've no doubt that through the course of the game, those centres will rotate a bit, and you know, Craig Casey's got a great spark and sees the game and is sharp, as outstanding as Jamison Gibson Park has been. He's phenomenal. So Mac at fullback wasn't a massive surprise. Really good, obviously, on the edges. Anyway, so not to have him on the wing, I don't think it has too much of an impact. Sam and Jack last year, Sam started against us and did really well, controlled the game well. His long kicking game was really effective, and then in the back half of the game, Jack's short kicking game was really effective. So, you know, hopefully it doesn't work out like that this year. But yeah, I think that's a great mix. And Ryan Beard's such a good athlete. Caelan Doris playing 7. That's a bit of a surprise, but geez, he's a hell of a player. And in terms of back row, having the carry capacity of Jack Conan and Caelan Doris, it's going to be something that is obviously going to be a handful for us, particularly with the athleticism of Ryan Beard. I think, you know, he doesn't carry in quite the same way. He's more athletic and very skilled through the tackle. So we're going to have to be, you know, at the very best of our game to be competitive.
Joe, in terms of you mentioned the game line capabilities, carrying of Conan Doris, that's something obviously which has dropped off a bit in the last couple of tests for Australia. How are you hoping that the team can break through the gain line, and also just the attacking rucks, obviously sorting out that clean? Has that been something that's just been a real focus for training?
Yeah, again, some of the clean out stuff was kind of mitigated by what was happening at the breakdown, and so, you know, that's something we have to solve, because in the game live, no one else is going to solve it for us. So it's something that we've worked on. I think having Bobby and Harry, they're two big carriers for us. So would hope that they'd match up to Jack and Kalen, and at the same time, I think Joseph Akusosua matching up to Stu McCloskey, that'd be similar in size and shape, and then bringing Lenny Ikato's experience back in. Hunter's been good for us, but Lenny brings a bit more experience, so he's a bit fresher as well. So we've freshened up those inside backs, and Max Jorgensen coming back in, he's fresh as well. So just trying to mitigate some of the wear and tear and get a fresh 15 out there.
Time for a couple more.
Feeling a
If there's
bit
anything.
sentimental about this match?
Not about the match. I love the stadium. Even though it dips away at one end, it was always kind of something that was a bit unusual. But even I remember coming back last year and familiar faces. I guess there's always comfort and familiarity and being familiar with a lot of the people as much as anything. And even I got out of an Uber in town yesterday morning, and the first three people, I was with our manager Chris Thompson, the first three people walking, "How you, Joel? How's you, Joel?" It's just a really nice feeling, like you're kind of home. So I'll miss that, but it's not like half my family live up here in terms of our kids, so it's not like you won't be back and forth. And I've always thought, and I know this may sound bizarre, but I've always thought when we used to go into the stadium and you drive past the Sandymount Hotel, I look at all those people having pints and really enjoying themselves, and I'm feeling like I'm in this sardine can of pressure. And I'll look out there and I think one day I'm going to get amongst those people, and then I'm going to drift into that stadium and I'm going to enjoy watching a game where I'm not so emotionally hanging off everything that happens. So, I've been looking forward to finishing for a long time, and it was a phone call from a mate of mine that had me end up here, and I've got to say I've really enjoyed it. I still really enjoy the on-field coaching and the interactions with motivated group of people. We've got a neat staff. They're great staff, and the boys have been great, and we're getting better. I know sometimes nothing's linear, and so we're talking about human beings, and we're talking about people who fluctuate, and they may feel a bit of fatigue, or they may feel a little bit of a distraction, or you may miss a couple of guys who are really important in your fulcrum, and that can impact on things. But I feel like we're making progress, and I know that people are impatient. I'll never forget my start with Leinster, and you talk about losing in Italy, losing in Treviso, game 4. The experienced boys had just come back in. The Irish lads, and apparently I'd lost the dressing room, and the first question I was asked at the press conference was, "Joe, is this the beginning of the end of Leinster rugby?" And I thought that was a little bit melodramatic, but I think if you just keep working hard, and you've got a motivated group, and you have a growth mindset, then you can hopefully arrive somewhere that maybe strikes beyond expectation that people had. And if you've never read it, Turn the Boat Around, where they talk about legacy, a lot of it is what you leave behind. You want to leave things set up, and that was really my commitment to Les and to Rugby Australia, that I try to leave it so it's ready to go. Now, it's certainly not about how I leave it. We've got, as I mentioned, a really good staff, and so we're all working hard, and so are the players.
There's time for one more, that's what I
Joe, yeah, you mentioned there about like your future. What do you imagine your future will be after you finish up next year? And would you ever talk so well of, you know, Leinster and up here being part of your home? Would you ever imagine coming back, you know, club rugby, Leinster, anything like that again?
Yeah, and maybe Tirranua. But Carlos has got that job, and I'm so old. I coached Carlos. Yeah, no, I won't be doing that. But yeah, look, I'm just hoping that I can have a bit of time in both hemispheres and share the time with kids and friends in both hemispheres. And I actually, you know, I haven't got anything planned other than, you know, just trying to spend some time with my youngest son, obviously Luke, and to get out on the golf course and just breathe for a while. You know, spend some time with family, really.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Len, first thing I want to ask is, you watched the game in England, you travelled to Italy, I know you were with the team and you trained. What was it like being in the stadium in Udine and watching what happened?
Yeah, it was obviously disappointing with the results, but for me it was just good to be back in the group, be back with the boys. So yeah, overall, it's just good to be back with the Wallabies.
Can I ask you, basically why weren't you able to play against Italy? Because I'm assuming you're fit and you're ready to go.
Yeah, I think just with combinations, I think Hunter and Joseph were going well. And obviously it was my first week back in, so I didn't think Joe wanted me to play. So obviously disappointing, but I think just the week of training and then training this week, I should be up for selection.
What were the things that you noticed just watching? Obviously, you're a super key part of this backline. What were the things that you were noticing? I know you had a hard day of training today. You're like, we've got to lift playing one of the best teams in the world in Dublin.
Yeah, I think just for us as a backline, I think we can do a better job of you know, controlling where we want to play, and then just making sure that we're getting opportunities to get the ball to an edge. You know, we've got some awesome wingers who in space are pretty hard to tackle. So just making sure that we're able to share the load within the forwards, and then just taking those opportunities.
I mean, this team traditionally is at its best when the odds are against them traditionally, come back time and again. It's probably one of the most challenging periods, certainly for Joe. Can you just take us through the last few days and the review? I'm assuming today was an extremely hard training session in the wet in Dublin.
Yeah, after any loss, it's, you know, pretty tough to review games. But I think for us, mentally and physically, we just wanted to get everything right. So we had a pretty light day on Monday, and then we've just gotten into our work today. And I think, you know, our session today was probably one of the best sessions that, you know, I've been a part of throughout this year. And I think everyone's just keen to get back out there. You know, another opportunity for us to play against an awesome side like Ireland. You know, they're a tough team, and especially at home in front of their crowd, very passionate. But then it's just another opportunity for us to kind of go out there and you know, play some good footy.
I mean, you said it was one of your best sessions. Can you just elaborate a bit on that? In what way was it so good?
Just in terms of our intent. You know, we have a style, the way we want to play, and I think everyone was, I guess, making sure that we kind of played the way we want to. And it does help having Rabs back into the squad, you know, older head who's very experienced, you know, steering the boys around and obviously kind of helping Tane along the way, which has been good. But I think in terms of intent and physicality, you know, pretty sharp today.
Okay, Tom.
I can add a bit to that as well.
Please.
I thought we were very accurate with what we did today, even with the tough conditions. Our carry clean detail was, again, like Lenny said, was some of the best we've had for a number of weeks. So there was some really good intent but accuracy as well with what we were doing.
Tom, I've been lucky enough to be with the team from England, Italy, now here. I see the hours that go into it. Joe's pulling all sorts of hours, you coaching staff, players. I know you're trying to fix it, but as part of the coaching team, can you tell me how can you fix the attacking rucks and securing them, and B, the inability to break the gain line, which has been over the last 2 games?
Yeah, I think the last 2 games our ball's been really slow at the breakdowns. That's helped with us not creating space for our ball carriers. We just have to try and create quicker ball, and do that by our ball carrier being really accurate with his detail, and our cleaners, and then our speed to clean, to identify threats and get rid of them. If we can get quicker ball, all of a sudden we'll be able to play with more space.
Then,
I was just going to say,
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth of toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every state advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, and let us sing, advance Australia Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth of toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every state advance Australia fair.
Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to Forever Sports, and welcome to kickoff between Ireland and Australia at the Aviva Stadium. The last game of what has been a long and eventful Autumn Nation Series days. We've had some pretty big games, to be honest, lots of controversy, and the big question is, can Australia bounce back from their shock defeat last weekend against Italy to get a win at the Aviva Stadium? And it's interesting, I was actually watching highlights of one of the previous games back in, I think it was 2017, 2018 odd, and Ireland won. It was such a big moment for them to beat Australia. Now you think that, the complete polar opposites. But let's see if Australia can bounce back and get a job done, because I tell you what, this Australian side needs something. And it's been not a bad start here from Australia, but Ireland with ball in possession, ball back inside from Tyke Byrne. And plenty of respect being shown by Ireland, picking a pretty strong side as Prendergast to the left-hand side to Hansen, playing in the number 15 jersey today. Gibson Park on the left goes to the right side. Prendergast goes short, and Tyke Byrne almost runs a brilliant line. Solid tackle coming in the end from Angus Bell. Now long ball over the ball, actually cross kick coming across there, and wrap around. Dan Sheehan caught on the ball, and Suali is over there. But ball is available for Gibson Park, short of the 22. To the left-hand side now. First receiver. Short. Prendergast behind. Mac Hansen. Numbers out wide. And a long pass out wide to James Lowe. Space in front of him. Cuts back inside James O'Connor. But runs into Harry Potter, who completes the tackle. Now Tyke Byrne back into the contact. Harry Wilson, the captain of Australia, making a good tackle. Prendergast goes short. Nice big tackle. Big tackle coming there on Ryan. Now Conan. With a bit of space out wide, but well tackled by Jake Gordon. Good continuity from Ireland, but so far good defence from Australia. They're holding firm. Big counter-ruck coming as well. The ball comes loose and kicked ahead. And I think Prendergast actually lost that forward. Gordon then gets his kick charged down. No advance to go back to the knock-on. Very nice start there from Australia. Good defence, good competing. Putting Ireland under good pressure as well. And Andy Farrell there. And he'll be looking for a performance here, Andy Farrell. Ireland they bounced back against Japan. Shouldn't have lost to New Zealand. I really think that New Zealand is a side up there for the taking. And we kind of saw that in Venice a couple hours ago when they lost to England. So bigger pack tonight from Australia. 900 kgs to Ireland's 881. And I think at this stage, it really should be, for me, I think it should be pretty one-sided. I think in theory, Ireland should be pretty comfortable victors here. But you never know. You do never know. If Wallabies pitch up like they have at stages during the year, then maybe it does get a bit close. And for them, important thing is starting well. James O'Connor, not a good pass out to Max Jorgensen, knocked on and ball in behind. And he just have to get back, but the ball's going to go dead on the touch line. Ball in behind. It's a good kick actually in behind. Good line as well. It's important to start well from a set piece point of view from Australia. Now ball over the top, and Gordon finds a good kick up to get the touchline. Will find touch. Good exit. Very good exit from Jake Gordon. Very good player, Jake Gordon. Good technical ability. Good game awareness. Classy operators. Joe Schmidt watches on, and how much he'd love to beat Ireland. The side that he was responsible for building, really, back in the day. I think did a lot of the groundwork for what we're seeing in terms of a very generational Irish side. A lot of it came back to the work he did with Ireland all those years ago. And he'd be desperate to try and beat them today. Now back there. Big tackle coming on James Lowe. Very, very good read there from Dagunu. So far, the defence from Australia has looked pretty good. Emerson Gibson Park looking for options. Goes short. Good carry there from Tyke Furlong. Gibson Park looking for options. Goes to Prendergast. Not too much on. Goes to the boot. Jorgensen. In fact, it looks like it gets completely wrong as Harry Potter. Allows it to bounce. And one back by Dan Sheehan. That's poor from Australia. Now with a space out wide, James Lowe gets off that away, but they manage to get across. Ball comes back inside. Advantage now here from Ireland. I don't know if it's a knockout advantage. Matt Hansen goes to Dan Sheehan. Ball behind. Another advantage coming. It was a penalty advantage. Go back for the penalty advantage against offside. So Australia just getting a little bit ahead of themselves. But it's a positive start from Australia. They look up for it, and that's always supposed to... And they go quickly, though. James Lowe just short. You can't stop positively. They can see a soft try. That's a good tackle there. On the doorstep here, Ireland. Goes with the top. And Mac Hansen, and that's so soft. And that's the perfect start for Ireland. Australia looked like they were up for it, but then all of a sudden just caught napping, to be honest. And Mac Hansen goes under the poles, and Ireland, within 6 minutes, get the first try. And that'll be so frustrating from Joe Schmidt. I mean, they've been talking about it all year, the fact that they just can't find that solid start. They just can't get on top of the games early. And they're completely coming from behind at all times. Prendergast takes his time, then pops it over. Right, 7 points to nil after 7 minutes. Go to some of the comments, and John Joe Burns is coming. Come on, Walking Bangkok says Ireland should be like 6th in the world. They're definitely not top 3 quality. Fighting talk. We'll find out next week, I suppose. You know, if you go and hammer them, you can have that conversation. I'm trying to keep my my Ireland chat quite limited until we play them. If we beat them, then by all means, then I can go after them. I can go cause cuck. But yeah, I mean, you should never be losing to that All Black side, if you ask me. Right, to the right-hand side, go Australia. Now he's trying to respond from that goal. I'll take it from Ty Byrne. Must be nice to have your red cards rescinded, despite the action always being illegal. And a good tackle there on James Ryan. Big counter coming here from Australia. And they've actually won the ball here of Australia. So turnover ball, Rob Valentini gets it up there. Angus Bell caught on the ball. Absorbs the pressure well. The ball available for Jake Gordon. And Suali's waiting for him. He goes to O'Connor. O'Connor caught on the ball, spins and loses the ball forward. Frustrating from James O'Connor. I wasn't really expecting it. It shouldn't actually have gone to him. Should have gone to Joe Suali. He's in a much better position. And by the time I went to James O'Connor, he had no options really to go. And then got caught on the ball in that. Ewan says, get in the boys in green. John Halkin records 32 points to 7. Yeah, it's still poor from James O'Connor. Even if he wasn't expected, even if he wasn't in a good position to take it, you've got to do better than that. Sam Prendergast's getting an opportunity this week. A position where I'm still trying to find the right player, to be honest, is flower half. Jack Riley was backed and they won the Six Nations under him. This Six Nations, they completely backed Sam Prendergast, who had good moments, but I think still shows that he's very young and maybe not quite at the standard just yet. So we're still trying to find that Johnny Sexton replacement. Not an easy person to replace, in fairness. And it's a free kick to Ireland at the scrum. And Prendergast will hammer things downfield. That ball needs to slow up. Oh, it's a phenomenal kick. And as Jorgensen knocked that on. Yes, the referee says he has. That is awful from Jorgensen. That's a 5-meter scrum. It's a brilliant kick from Sam Prendergast. Just pumped it downfield, and Jorgensen was trying to keep it in and then lost it forward. And all of a sudden, he's given Australia a 5-meter scrum. That's so poor from him. Oh, that's a disaster. Absolute disaster. But this is the perfect start for mine. It's only going to get better at this rate. They scored the back here. Break and play here as James Ryan gets a bit of treatment. Colonel Hurston saying, go on you boys in green. So it looks like a lot of Irish support. 67% of the poll saying that they're all supporting Ireland. So reasonably one-sided there. Scott's Boy says, Southern Hemisphere teams gotten found out in the last few years. I mean, apart from the world champions. But apart from them, correct. Gibson Park, though, feeds. Ball available. And it's a good scrum, though, from Australia. Now, flat ball. Early carrier from McCloskey. Just short. Gibson Park wants clean ball, quick ball. Looking for options. Goes flat to Henshaw. Prendergast, Mac Hansen. And it's like a repeat. It's a complete repeat of the first try. Hansen's got a double in 10 minutes. That's far too easy once again. Far too easy. It's just the wraparounds. And Australia just, I don't know if they're reading in gibberish or what's the story, but just getting sucked in and so much space. And this is ominous signs for Joseph. Well, I predicted a Big Island win, to be fair, on my picks.app. And so far, I reckon I might have nailed it in going so big, because it's about to be 14 points to 0 within 11 minutes. He doesn't get touched. Matt Hansen scored 2 tries without getting anybody even come anywhere near him. And underneath the poles as well. It's not like he's been going to the corner. Once again, to the right-hand side, they go. McCloskey underneath it this time. And the Wallabies, pretty rancid so far. Must be said. Gibson Park goes to the boot, looking for touch. Will find touch. So Ireland managing things well. Ball down. Jake Gordon. O'Connor goes flat. Suoli, nice big K from him. In fact, I think it's actually Ikatal. Now to the right-hand side. Harry Wilson's starting to get involved. Hansen, now Connor. Suoli goes to the hands, but the space out wide now. Harry Potter go himself. Making good, still going in fact. Nobody really wanted to complete the tackle. Eventually, Mac Hansen complete just outside of 22. Now Angus Bell arriving. James O'Connor goes short and lost forward. But there was a penalty advantage. Poor handling that was from Fraser McGrath, I think it was. Or was it Tom Hooper, in fact, he couldn't hold on. But there was a penalty advantage. So opportunity, you've got to try and respond. Yeah, got to respond. Ross Andrews says 2 teams from UK won today, get a third coming on Ireland. Yeah, that Wales game was close. Jeepers. Big win that for Wales, and I like Wales, so I'm happy that they got the win, but not pretty at all. It's a poor line out there, and Caelan Doris comes away with it. Pick up and go for the youngster, Paddy McCarthy. Penalty advantage for Ireland. And as I said, 7 offside, or 7 not releasing. It's against Fraser McGrath. Yeah, and they kicked themselves into Australia's half. Joe Schmidt worryingly looking on, as he should be. But this is kind of more the Ireland we've been missing recently. We haven't seen this in a while. that intensity from the start. It's a bit like Leinster, where they kind of like blow teams off the park because they just start so well, and then you have to, it's too big of a climb to come back. But they get up and compete to Australia. It does eventually go back to Ireland, and it is available for Gibson Park. But a bit of a messy line-out. Ty Furlong caught behind the advantage line. Gibson Park's got options to the left and right. So look to go to the boot here. Lifts it high. Couple of chases. Harry Potter's underneath it. And it comes back towards Australia. Angus Bell pops it up to Jorgensen. Jorgensen wants to go himself. Nice young player, Jorgensen, playing in fullback this week. To the right-hand side. Another toe. Good hands. Keeps it on the Angus Bell. Now a bit of space. Harry Potter's going to chip a chase. But he just puts it along. Matt Hansen's after it, but this is going to be 50-22. Matt Hansen keeps it inside. And he thumps it downfield. Important game for Matt Hansen to play always against his country of birth. But referee's saying that he didn't get any distance on that. And it's going to be an Australia 22-meter line-out. August says, how Ireland is higher than France in world ranking is behind me. France is way better. Well, it comes down to, I suppose, who they beat. France, actually, I don't feel sorry for that. But no, you know what? France deserved that because they took a B team to New Zealand and got beaten. 3-bar. And then they lost to the Springboks. So that's the price you pay at the end of the day. O'Connor, long pass out wide. Jorgensen with space, though. Good space. Steps up as well tracked by O'Brien. Jake Gordon gets the ball out. Nice pass that. Matt Fazer running on. O'Connor's calling a bit of space on the left-hand side. Big tackle coming, but he actually spins in the tackle. Does Harry Potter. Getting quite involved with Harry Potter on the left wing and the right wing. Jake Gordon shows and goes. Inside ball from Harry Wilson. Well taken from the Australian skipper. Much better this from Australia. Good intensity. Now Angus Bell getting involved. Into the starting role with the retirement of James Slipper. Good line being run there by Lenny Katab. Much better this from the Wallabies. Rob Valentini, pick up and go. They're 5 meters out. Round the corner. Well met. They need a scrum off. Eventually Harry Potter arrives. Ikatal pops up to Hooper. Better this from Australia. Ikatal goes himself. Eventually Jake Gordon emerges. Daganu is there. But they go to Rob Valentini. Good work this from the Wallabies. Fraser McWright pops it up. No one really going to the pick and go. Everybody's sort of going with the pop-up. McWright. Now he goes around the corner. Nice and direct. Pick up a go from Harry Wilson. Good defense so far from Ireland, but Australia probing. Harry Potter almost caught on the ball. I just don't know why he really picked it up. Penalty advantage left offside. Valentini standing start. Pick up and go. Just short. Gordon. Ikato! Over they go, and Australia hit back. Well, the rain is coming down, and it's raining points in the Aviva at the moment. 19 points in 18 minutes. Australia do respond. Good. It's late over here in South Africa. I don't want to go. I'm not going to sit here till midnight watching a crap game. I want to, like I did against the All Blacks. So that Ireland All Blacks game was a disaster. This is a much better game so far. And that's the response. This is what's so frustrating. If you're an Australian fan, you watch this and you think, why can't they just do it from the get-go? Why do they have to go down 40-0 all the time before they start playing? As James O'Connor adds the extras, because they can score points against any team in the world. They've shown that, but they're just so susceptible to conceding stupid, silly points. That's an important try, though. If Ireland scored a third one, I don't think Australia come back. Now, all of a sudden, you're thinking, well, game on. Game on here. Early days. 8 tries in his 49 games for Lenny Katal. Starting to get a really good combination with Joseph Akuso Suali'i. Now to the right-hand side. Rob Valentini underneath it. Takes it well. Gets to his feet. Measures up the tackle from Ryan Baird. Oh, jeepers. A big tackle there on Matt Faisler. Now Gordon, still set to the 22, looks for touch. Won't find it. Mac Hansen goes back. Inside ball to Sam Prendergast, who shapes to go to the up and under. Mac Hansen will give chase. It's well weighted and goes backwards off of Connor. Then I think backwards off of Gibson Park. The first knock on coming from Australia from Gordon, so it will be an iron scrum. Been messy, and I think Australia needs to get a lot better under the high ball. Sam Prendergast is winning that battle at the moment, putting into good areas, good chase. Gibson Park ball at the back. Pretty solid so far. Angus Bell doing a good job on Furlong. They do use Gibson Park to the left-hand side. Not the best pass there to Stuart McCloskey. Fraser McWright gets there to make the tackle. Gibson Park to the left once again. Ty Byrne getting involved. Well met in the tackle. Gibson Park to the right-hand side. And again, good tackle. Good line speed just from Australia. Gibson Park to the right side. Prendergast looking for options. Goes short to Ryan Baird. Another good tackle coming from Australia. Fraser McWright is lurking. Doesn't get it right this time. Conan now. Or Caden Doris rather. The number 7 jersey this evening. Gibson Park looking for it. Looking for options. Shaping to go to the right hand side. Does go to the right hand side. Mac Hansen first receiver. He can pass it out to Dan Sheehan. Good tackle coming from Lenny Katal. The try scorer. Now back to the left hand side. Well met by Paddy McCarthy in the midfield. Gibson Park. Slow ball here from him. Prendergast the first receiver. Weighs up his options. Goes pretty flat to Ty Furlong. Harry Wilson completes the tackle. Goes over, but then told to leave it. Gibson Park snipes. Looking for options to the left-hand side. Prendergast goes short, but there's nobody really there. Picked up by Henshaw and knocked on in the process. So Australia scrum, and they look pretty good at scrums, to be fair. Look at some of the comments. Gerard says South Africa will beat Ireland. Big call, big call. Puerto Deportivo says Ireland win plus 10.5. Walking Bangkok says top 3 in the north, France, Ireland, England. Ross Andrews says that'd be a close game. South Africa and Ireland, 2 big sides. I think that is the last hurdle really for South Africa. I think that we should beat Wales pretty comfortably. Next weekend's the big one. It is the big one. Conversation happening here with the Sam Prendergast saying a lot of things, talking a lot in that title, as is Jamison Gibson Park. Never short of confidence has Sam Prendergast. Young player, but knows exactly what he's all about. And they're going back to a tip tackle, actually. So it's actually Australia penalty after all that. And not the biggest kick. James O'Connor, I think, in his later years, seems to lost a little distance from his boot. Shark says, in the world, there is South Africa and the others. That's what they're saying after the England game. They were saying that there's just one team that's just so far above everybody else at the moment, and that's what they'd love to play against, the England to play against the Box, to kind of really measure up where that England side is. So far, Australia have lost one line-out, though. So Matt Fraser needs to get this right. It's a 5-man line-out to Wilson, and it's 50-50, but Fraser McWright does come away with it, and Rob Valentini now bounces into a couple of players. Gordon now taking his time, probably looking to go to the butcher. Does go to the boot. Harry Potter will give chase. James Lowe underneath it. Goes straight through the hands of James Lowe. Knock on advantage. Pops it up to Fraser McWright. Long pass out wide to Lenny Katab. O'Connor, good hands there. Surely he goes to Jorgensen. Fires out to Dogonu. Gets around the outside as Dogonu. He's still going. Ball back inside. Left behind by Qatar. Knocked forward. Matt Hansen comes away with it. Matt Hansen gets bundled into touch. No, they managed to keep it into Ireland. Knock-on advantage. And they'll go back for the knock-on. Well, I'll tell you what, that's dreadful from James Lowe. Straight through the breadbasket. Got to do better than that, as James Lowe. Have to do better than that. Please do smash like on the video, by the way, if you are watching. Getting very close to that 99,000 subscriber mark. 145 to go. John just says, sorry, who won the last game between Ireland versus South Africa? It was Ireland. It was that drop goal by Osborne down in Durban. I think Ireland have actually won about 3 in the last 4, something like that. So the recent stats say Ireland, recent form say the Box, and I think that's what's going to make such a good game. Walkie back says Wales will be easy if that's how they played against Japan. Ross Andrews says Wales, young side with huge potential. I mean, they're good players of Wales, and I was watching old Cracknell today, and I'm thinking, like, how has this guy not been more involved in that Welsh side? But the entire Welsh system is just so broken at the moment. They've got the players, though. There's some really good players there. Thomas Williams is a phenomenal player. Jared Evans, you know, the metal to come on and do that. Aiden Wainwright, I like Tane Plumtree, he's a nice player as well. Reece Zammit is a proper superstar. That break he made today, he's just such a balanced runner with the ball. So I think Wales will be okay. Steve Tanner needs to get backed, and then I think they can start to operate. We're going to have a reset. Yeah, it's a pretty packed Dublin Stadium, which is good to see. I mean, try and get tickets to the Aviva next week because it's going to be absolutely jam-packed. Arguably one of the top 5 biggest games of the year, I reckon, is next week. No, I say Ireland will beat South Africa next game. Dear. Right, solid to scrum there. Gibson Park feeds. Ball available, and Jack Conan comes off the back. Good tackle coming from Jake Gordon. Nice player, Jake Gordon. Fraser McGrath trying to get through the side here because there wasn't actually a ruck formed. The referee told him to get out of there. Gibson Park's digging for it. Prendergast in the pocket. Taking a while, yeah, it's Gibson Park. Now it's finally available. He's shaping up for the box kick. Dogonu is there, but knocked backwards into the hands of Tyke Furlong. Fraser McGrath lurking, but gets pushed off the ball. So Ireland have possession. Gibson Park goes to the boot once again. And Daguna, oh, it's a great kick from Gibson Park. Just bounces the right way. And that could be a 50-22, actually, if that originated inside their own half, which I think it did. So that's a phenomenal kick from Gibson Park. I mean, the scrum half of the year. He's so good as Gibson Park. The way he manages the games, he just reads the game so well. So Ireland back in the 22, back on the front foot. 25 minutes have flown by so far. As the park goes flat. McCloskey in the midfield there. Now Doris. Good tackle. Very nice tackle coming from Faisler. Gets it there nice and quickly. Gibson Park. And the back goes. O'Brien puts it in behind. And Jorgensen is there. Jorgensen does very well under a lot of pressure. Gets back up. He's going to throw him behind. Does he manage to stay out? It's going to be a 5-meter scrum. Very, very good work there. James Lowe just picking him up and driving him back. Because not a lot that Max Jorgensen could do there, actually. He needed assistance. He needed help there and didn't really get it from his teammates. So back on the, I mean, just so much on the front foot now. Wallabies, all the pressure is back on them. He's been a good find this year, though, Max Jorgensen. I think he's going to have a very, very bright future for the Wallabies. I'm very keen to see how the Wallabies go in that World Cup. I mean, you've got Carter Gordon back. I mean, Joseph Suaalii, he's had a phenomenal switch to Union. I think he's going to be one of the best players in the world the next few years. He's a great player. A couple more league players starting to potentially make the Union switch. Here comes Bandiaki, though. And how's that for a player to be able to bring on? I think Stuart McCloskey potentially injured. And you bring on Bandiaki. That's huge. I mean, McCloskey's an absolute behemoth. And you bring on Bandiaki, who's barbaric in the way he carries. Is so strong. Right, 5-minute scrum here for Ireland. 30 minutes to go in the half. Australia were hanging on, but under the cosh here. It's not a bad big scrum coming in from Ireland. It's twisting a bit there. Referee doesn't know what anything. Gibson Park fires out to Bandiaki, pops out to Prendergast. And once again, they're trying to go underneath, but it's gone off the arm, I think. O'Brien's have to go. Backhand says he's got a hat trick. He does. He does. He has got a 30-minute hat trick, does Mac Hansen, against Australia of all teams, the country of his birth. Not sure he's going to be welcome back anytime soon with the way that he's gone over here. But that's 3 tries in less than half an hour from Mac Hansen. I need to go back and see how did this ball get across there? Yeah, just the cross kick there from Prendergast. That's like what? I want to see that replay again. Where does it come off of? Yeah, he's shaped, and then as he's being tackled, he just puts the kick in. O'Brien loses it, and then just falls on the floor in front of Mac Hansen, and then it's in the chaos that he emerges. We're going wide there from the kick for Sam Prendergast. It's a great kick in the end from Prendergast, under pressure as well. And so frustrating from the Wallabies. It was starting to look good, starting to go into the game. And then you can see a try like that. Right, then you got to score next to Australia. 19 points to 7, Gibson Park. Does fine touch. Right, let's see what Wallabies can respond with. Two visits to the 22 from Australia, 5 for Ireland, and points of visit are actually more or less the same. It's just at the moment Ireland are finding it a lot easier to get into the Australian 22 than Australia. But on the front foot, into the angle goes Suaalii. He gets away from 1. Now to the right side of James O'Connor. Hands. But then a poor pass back towards Harry Wilson, the captain. Got to do better than that. Have to do better than that. Joe Schmidt, always calm as Joe Schmidt, always calm. His last few weeks in charge of Australia. He will step down at the end of the year. They keep trying to prolong their contract, and eventually he just had to say, no, guys, listen, this is me officially done. He wants a bit of a gap here, does the referee. The front of the lineup, back down to Gibson Park. To Prendergast. Goes to the boot. Jorgensen advances Harry Potter. Takes it well. It surely has taken in the air. No, it's just the referee. I would like to go have a look at that. I think it is taken in the air. Ball comes loose though. Rob Valentini. Yeah, it is taken in the air. Yeah, that's what I thought. Come on, ref. Get into my level here. Get into my level. If I can see it from back over here. Yeah, it's clearly in the air for me as far as I'm concerned. And does find touch. Yeah, much better kick that from James O'Connor. 20 metres outside the 22, so was it Dogani who actually kicked for touch there? Right, just past the 10-metre line, your opportunity for the Wallabies with just over 8 minutes left in the half. Ball over the top from Gordon. Suali's going to give chase. This is such a good tactic for them. And win it back. And turns. O'Connor under a bit of pressure. Dogani now. Runs back towards a bit of support. O'Connor with a bit of space. To Faisler. Gordon back. And caught on the ball. But it absorbs the pressure, does Jamie Williams. Now, back on the front foot. That's a nice carry. Rob Valentini as the Wallabies try and get their structure back a little bit. O'Connor goes short. Alto wasn't really expecting it. His brother, very well known to the Irish public. Leinster stalwart. Lost a lot of momentum here. And James O'Connor goes to the boot. To the right-hand side, slightly deep, and Harry Potter will have to give chase, and Matt Hansen will mark it well. Not the best kick coming from James O'Connor. And Hansen hacks it into touch. So it was still Wallabies on the front foot here. Good defence, though, from Ireland. They didn't give an inch. Looking reasonably good on the attack here, James O'Connor. Finding a bit of space after that early shaky start. Good take from Jamie Williams. Looking for the rolling more here, Australia. And they made a few yards early on. Ball available. Jake Gordon trying to search for it. Now it eventually becomes available. Penalty advantage here for the Wallabies. Gordon digs for it. Now O'Connor looks for the wraparound. And can't hold on to it. Just as I was saying, it was looking good. Poor from O'Connor. Really, really poor. But they'll go back for the penalty. And they can just kick to the corner here and try to set up another line out. Right, inside the 22. Bit of a conference here happening with the Wallabies. Harry Wilson. Just apologise to the referee as they start to appear. They're about 50 metres out here are the Wallabies. Faisal needs to make sure he hits his man. If Australia hit back here, 14 points to 19. Very much still in the game. But they've stolen it of Ireland. And James Lowe uses that left boot and thumps it downfield. So they'll go back about 30 yards. Frustrating that from the Wallabies perspective. Straight in the front there. And it's a good win that coming from. I think it's Ryan Beatty gets up and does very well. Paul O'Connell watching a couple of things. The Ireland forwards coach. So far seems to have done his research on the lineup pretty well. And it's another steal from Ireland. Australia lineup's a disaster. This is a bit like the England lineup with New Zealand. It's just far, far, far too poor. And ironically, the Irish lineup's not been great the last few weeks. Gibson Park lifts it up high. James Lowe gives chase. And Harry Potter spills it forward. Knock on advantage here. I don't know where the ball is. Unless it comes an Irish way, it will be an Ireland scrum. It will be an Ireland scrum. Not coming out of there at all. Peter making a very good point, saying only Australians have scored the try so far this game. Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Matt Canson with a hat trick. Australian born, they made the move. We're going to have a look here. Not entirely sure what we're looking at here, to be honest. I'm not sure we're looking at James Lowe and the way he goes with his contact here. But potential... so we're looking at James Lowe. He comes flying in here. Just a penalty, says the referee, which I agree with. I think that's an all right decision. But either way, it is a reversal, so there's a penalty. So Wallabies will be able to kick themselves, and has got a copter. Yeah, I mean, pretty clear head contact given the fact that Harry Potter is spilling a lot of blood. So a very good kick that from James O'Connor. They're back to exactly where they lost that line inside the 22. This time they need to make sure. Good take that. Very good take. And around the corner goes Fraser McWright. Eventually gets brought down. Ball is available for Jake Gordon. And knocked forward. Just rushing it. Just couldn't handle the line speed. Gives some park chips over the top. James Lowe made the call. Well taken from Harry Potter. Gets away from James Lowe. So Wallabies back with possession. Just past the 10-meter line. Jamie Williams puts his head down. Nice carry that coming from him. In fact, actually, Tom Hooper. Gordon goes to the right-hand side to Harry Wilson. Pops up to O'Connor. O'Connor. It's not a good pass out towards Valentini, but penalty for offside. So once again, Australia can go to the corner unless they take the 3. Could take the 3. Could take the 3. I don't really see the point, to be honest. I think they're going to have to score tries to win this game. Ty Burn, the one that strolled offside there. A big welcome to Ina, who's just joined the Forever Sports Members Club. Welcome, welcome. Let's see if Australia can. Surely they can make this pressure count. If they go in 14 points to 19, they'll feel that they're in this game. You go in at 19 points to 7, that's a bit of a mountain to climb. And more to the point, you just won't feel that confident in the fact that you had these opportunities to try and get yourself within a few points, and you've missed out. It's a bit of a more complicated line. This time they do take, not a great line, it must be said, but they do manage to take it. Looking for the rolling more. There's a bit of space on the right-hand side that Jake Gordon is eyeing out. Gibson Park's monitoring it there. O'Connor looking for the wraparound. Goes short. Suali'i. Look to try and make that ball available. 20 meters out here, Australia. Gordon. Phaser now. Nice carry from him. Gordon goes to Hooper. Now back on the angle goes Alatoa. Harry Wilson now. Always a winning carrier as Harry Wilson. Gets to a lot of work in the match. McWright. Inside ball. Bit of space for Tom Hooper. Makes a few yards. Up to 5 meters out now. Fraser McWright shows and goes himself. Penalty advantage for the Wallabies. Harry Wilson shows the dummy. Yeah, he raced a few yards. Hooper again. There's space to the right-hand side. They want to use it. Another pick up and go. And he's dived for it, and I think he's got grounding as Fraser McWright. He has got grounding. The try has been awarded. And on the brink of half-time, the Wallabies hit back. And that'll put them firmly back in the game. Tell you what, this game is very open. It is still very open. And as the extras are James O'Connor, and that's going to be half-time, right? Half-time, 19 points to 14. Game firmly on you, people, and that's what I wanted to see. I said, we're going to have a nice late-night kickoff. We need to have a good game. Well, we've got a good game on our hands. Just 5 points separating the two sides. Joe Schmidt will be very happy. The Wallabies will feel they actually got a bit of momentum going into half-time. We'll be back very shortly after the break. Smash a like in the meantime on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well, and we'll see you in a few.
With golden soil and weather time. soiling well for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage of birds Australia bear. In joyful strains, then let us sing of birds Australia Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free. With golden soil and well toil, our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage of birds Australia bear. In joyful strains, and let us sing of birds Australia
Right, we're back. And halftime, 19 points to 14, which means a big second half to come. Matt Hansen with a hat-trick in that first half. And Australia, well, two very important tries. Keep them in the game, and that try by Fraser McRae right before halftime means that they actually start the half with a lot of momentum. But let's see, the question is, can they maintain it? Can they maybe score first in the second half and try and put the pressure back onto an Ireland side, which looked very good in that first 10 minutes? And then maybe kind of dropped off a little bit. But very big half to come. And I'll tell you what, if Joe Schmidt goes and pulls off a victory against Ireland, what a way that would be for him to sort of finish off his tenure as Wallabies coach this month. But a big half will be needed if that is going to be the case. And a big impact will need to become from the bench. So let me know what your full-time predictions are. Going to close the poll there from Who's Poll and ask who's going to win the game. Who will win this clash? Ireland or the Wallabies? And a bit of a messy line once again from Australia. They've got to try and sort that out because at the moment it's basically just every single time the ball goes out, it's Australia. I mean, it's Ireland ball. A bit of space out there. Prendergast brings out the good old spiral torpedo. And it's a very good touch finder up towards halfway line. He's played well so far on the boot as Sam Prendergast. Both teams have made 22 entries in the first half, with Ireland averaging 3.2 points per entry. Australia's 2.3. Ireland have been very accurate when they've had their chances. Once again, ball at the top. I mean, you're going to have to change hooker here. You've got to get Matt Fazer off at this stage and bring on Billy Pollard because it's been an absolute joke how bad these Australian lines have been. Prendergast, not much pressure on him, not many options, goes over the top, and Dagunu has to go back and does manage to get back in time. Oh dear, wants to run himself. Not against the touchline. He goes to the left boot. He needs to try and keep that in, actually. Does keep it in. And Mac Hansen loses it forward. And he'll go back. It'll be a scrum for Australia. John Burns says, Ross completely agree, but as much as I hate to admit it, look at England today. If they play like that every game in the Six, they will be dangerous. France, again, don't like to say it, but very tough team. I think the Six Nations next year is going to be interesting. I think that Ireland are not where they were a couple of years ago. I think France are a bit of a surprise package at the moment. And I think that England side is playing with a lot of confidence. Italy, I think, are still just short of a few big forwards, I think, genuinely. I think Italy at full strength and I think that Italy will only get better with the youngsters coming through. Wales won't compete next year in the Six Nations. Maybe the year after that, they might start to sort of filter through. But I do think we're in for a good Six Nations. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be quite tight. And Scotland, I mean, who knows when it comes to Scotland? I mean, yeah. 1 week, they're great. 1 week, next week, it's so inconsistent. Now, a bit of space out here. Good hands. Good take that from Harry Potter. But forward pass, says the referee. Silly from the Wallabies. Very, very silly. I'd love to see the Scotland go and give us Six Nations a go, you know. Yeah, the pass there from York's just drifting forward. A bit poor from him, to be perfectly honest. Pretty flat, but yeah, probably does go a little bit forward. Right, so Ireland scrum now, just inside their own half on the left-hand side, full right-hand side really of the field to work with. Didn't get a lot of scrum dominance in that first half, did Ireland, and it's going to be a reset. Right, there we go. Ready for the reset, yeah? Some of the comments. John Joe says, I'm Ireland through and through, but Wales nearly hurt us last year. And look at their record. Should have been a walkthrough, but was probably one of the hardest games for us. And gives a park to the right-hand side. Long pass out wide. James Lowe wasn't really expecting it. And James O'Connor makes a good tackle. Gibson Park looking for options. Goes to the right-hand side. Fires it back to Prendergast in the pocket, actually. Goes to the boot. Mac Hansen will give chase. Dagunu knocks it backwards and then get kicked ahead by Tommy O'Brien into the hands of Harry Potter, who cleans up well. Ball back aside. That's a very good ball back aside, Jake Cord. He gets it up to Dagunu. He needs to try and stay inside. Advantage here for Australia. I think a knock-on advantage. No advantage. It was a knock-on indeed. Peter Lopes says, I think Ireland is my safe bet to take home the Six Nations because of how consistently good they are. Other teams aren't that consistent, but still very good. Ross Andrews says, all teams have that spell in the Six Nations. Wales won a couple on the go, and now they aren't playing great. A lot of it, I think, for me, the Six Nations comes down to the scheduling at the end of the day. You know, who you got at home? Who are your home games? And I think that's a huge part of it. So, you know, previously, in the last few years, we've always looked at Ireland versus France. Where's that game? Now, next year, it's the opening game. And it's on a Thursday. I mean, it's bizarre. It's disgusting, absolutely disgusting. Thursday, France versus Ireland, Stade de France. And I mean, that's a disaster way to get going. But that I think is quite significant in terms of it being a Stade de France. So that's, I mean, you've almost got the Six Nations decided as your first game of the tournament. And then you've got games like, you know, Scotland versus England. I mean, the Calcutta Cup has belonged to Scotland recently for so many years. That game's in Murrayfield next year. So, you know, will England be able to get up for that? You know, England's playing against Ireland at Twickenham. So they've got home ground advantage there. So Ireland don't have the easiest fixtures for the Six Nations. They finished with Scotland at home, whereas France, for example, are hosting England at home. So, but I think that the fixtures, for example, do sort of suit France better. And I do think that home ground advantage can be so hugely important. To the right-hand side, Jorgensen sees a bit of space. Looking for that 50-22. Mac Hansen's kind of scrambling a little bit to get back. Ball needs to hold up. It's going a little bit too far. He'll just be able to dab this down for a 22. So goal line dropout check for Sam Prendergast. To the right-hand side they go. Tagunu, nice big lad. Yeah, come on, line somebody up here. Nice tackle that coming on, to be fair. I think it was Ryan Beard to get himself into a good position. Now hands here. James O'Connor goes to Iketal, now to Suali'i. On the ball, there's Caelan Doris. And wins the penalty. Just as they're getting a little momentum here, the Wallabies. Can see the penalty. It's an important penalty to win. And Caelan Doris with a cheeky smile. What a player Caelan Doris is. Nice guy as well. I met him and he was down. They were all down here. In fact, I had no issue with any of the Irish players when they were down here. Decent bunch. Andy Farrell was a good person to go to the press conference and stuff like that for. Both up here in Joburg, and when we went down to Devon. Right, Paddy McCarthy has made way, as has Jack Conan. So Nick Timoney's on. Andrew Porter on in the number 17 jersey. Good player, Nick Timoney. I think he probably should have had a few more caps to his name. It had been not so difficult to get into that Ireland back three. Now, let's eye from Prendergast. Jorgensen goes up. Hey, Porter goes up, takes a while, but then spills it on the ground to Caelan Doris. Knock on advantage at 4 Ireland side of 22. Gibson Park, quick ball to the left-hand side. Porter goes to Prendergast. Long pass side wide towards Ryan Beard. Just short of the 22. And penalty for not running away, I think is the call, yeah. And then we march back 10 meters. Not sure where the comment came from. But wasn't impressed with it. I think it's Len Iketal who he's taking exception with as the referee. And to the corner they go. 5 points the lead so far for mine. Looking to try and open their count for the second half. Good line at that. Once is the call, though. Good defense from Australia. It's quite lateral at the moment. Now trying to come around the corner. Getting a bit of front foot ball here, Ireland. And it breaks off his defense. Sheehan just shy. Has he been held up, though, is the call? He has. Very good defense that from the Wallabies. Just absorbed a bit of that pressure. Managing to hold him up is a very, very good work, that. Angus Bell, though, however, stayed down. I think it's actually, is it Angus Bell or Matt Faisler? I think it actually might be Matt Faisler. Len Iketal's involved there. There's Bell. Very good defense, that. So hanging on at the moment are the Wallabies. And the longer they hang on, the more they'll grow in confidence. So doing everything right so far. Yeah, knows has seen better days from Harry Potter. Goal line dropout. Referee just asking James O'Connor to wait a bit. And he'll pump this downfield towards the halfway line. Sam Prendergast underneath it. He lifts it high in the air. Matt Hansen will give chase. James O'Connor needs to try and get in front of him and mark this. But forward, though, for Matt Hansen. Knock-on advantage for the Wallabies. Pick up and go from Harry Wilson, spotting a bit of space. Still goes Harry Wilson as he exits the 22. Ball available there for Fraser McWright. Goes himself. Almost actually runs to the referee. Now Jake Gordon asking for a pod. And goes to Alatoa. Soaks up an Irish player or two. Now surely look to go to the boot here with Jake Gordon. Does go to the boot. Giving chase here is Harry Potter. Comes off of James Lowe and backwards, I think is the call. Robbie Henshaw's come away with it. Ball available for Gibson Park behind the 10-metre line. Flat though. Good ball that to James Ryan, but a bit hard in the tackle. Driven back towards the halfway line. Prendergast goes to Hansen. Long pass out to Bandiaki. Needs to get across here to Suali'i. Does get across, and he's going to go all the way out. Very good tackle there from Joseph Suali'i. Need to get him on the ball. Yeah, just Joseph Akusa Suali'i. But it's a great tackle, though. And he just keeps sliding into Bandiaki. This guy, use the touchline. And then just bundling it out. Very, very good tackle from Suali'i. 10 minutes in, and Wallabies have not conceded. I think that's probably the first thing that they need to focus on, the fact that they haven't conceded yet. Apology coming from Bandiaki. Meanwhile, by the way, over in France, it is 24 points, 21 against Fiji. What a scalp that would be for Fiji if they were to get a result there. Goodness me. O'Connor goes to the boot, sends it downfield. And it just bounces out, to be honest. They've made about 30-odd meters. Nobody really wanted it. That was bizarre. Right, so iron line out as Dan Sheehan feeds. Beard. Oh, it's good to pick up that from Caleb Dawes behind him. Now to the left-hand side. Porter pops out to Prendergast. Prendergast looking for options. Shows and goes himself. Prendergast makes a break. Inside ball to Jameson Gibson Park. Jorgensen makes a good tackle. Fraser McWright's there, but gets bundled out the way. Tight burn. Quick ball to Andrew Porter. Pops out to Bandiaki. Bandiaki goes short. Henshaw takes it into contact. And Porter not expecting it, and intercepted by Joseph Akusa Suali'i. Close but no cigars. Still from Ireland this half. O'Connor sees a bit of space. Off goes Hooper on a run. O'Connor eventually manages to see that, and Fraser comes across. Wilson takes contact. Ball over the top, and Matt Hansen spills it, almost spills it. Manages to regather. Available for Gibson Park, back inside their own half. Beard pops out to Prendergast. Prendergast to Low. Space out wide for Bandiaki. James Wilson's around. And it's intercepted by Harry Potter, but then Lowe loses it forward. Scrappy at the moment. Very, very scrappy. Neither team really managing to string together a couple of phases. You can see the frustration on Sam Prendergast's face. Just not quite gelling either side at the moment. Peter says, all today's matches are really closer than expected them to be. John Joe Burns says, last week was also a very good weekend of games. Felt bad for Scotland. They played their hearts out. Ugh, yeah, I mean, bloody Scotland. You got to just get over the line, please. Really. Big scrum that coming from Australia. Penalty to Ireland. I tell you what, if I'm Australia, I'd be pretty peeved about that. They definitely had the dominance. Ala Alatoa has got a lot to say. He's got blood on his side. Looks like his ears open up. I think it's a bit of a moral victory that for Australia, who seem to have the dominance. Right, Ireland now. Good opportunity. This is outside the 22. Need to start making these opportunities count for them. Pops it up, though. Gibson Park goes flat to Bandiaki. And James Lowe now. Gibson Park to the right side to Bandiaki. There's so many numbers on the right side. Prendergast holds onto it. Gets away from one. Pops it up to James Ryan. Not sure that's the right decision. Penalty advantage here. Henshaw offloads it to Andrew Porter. New penalty advantage. Prendergast going to go for the drop goal. He's retreating. He's nailed it. He's nailed it. Fair enough. Fair enough. Not too much on penalty advantage. Prendergast says, you know what, let's put some points on the board. Good decision that from the youngster. Well struck as well. We saw, it's pretty good drop goal. It's about 30, 40 meters out. And we saw George Ford very calmly and collectively slotting drop goals earlier today. Right, restart. Bandiaki takes it up strongly. 22 points to 14. Ball available for Gibson Park. Looking for options. Goes behind Prendergast. O'Brien. We've barely seen O'Brien. Gets across very well, though. Does... who's that? That's that replacement. Looks like he's just come on. That looks like Nick Frost. Good tracking that from the lock. Now, ball goes up. Suoli underneath it. Suoli takes it well. And a bit of pressure, but ball is available for the Wallabies. Rob Valentini carries up strong. Jake Gordon goes back to O'Connor. Not too many options. O'Connor just puts it pretty deep. Now James Lowe puts it up for Matt Hansen to give chase. It's kind of swirling a little bit. Matt Hansen gets there first, and the Wallabies players just caught napping, watching it. Not really good enough, to be honest. And then Gibson Park's the top gets charged down, back into the hands of Nick Frost. To left-hand side, Suoli goes himself. Gordon. Billy Pollard now. Gordon, quick ball. Ikatar, Wilson, nice soft hands. What Valentini lets it go. Handling not good enough at the moment. Now James Lowe just hammers it over the top, and it's in touch. That's an awful kick from James Lowe. Awful, 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 awful. He had so much time as well. It was a bit of a weird kick, actually. It was just lazy, if nothing else, from James Lowe. So I don't know if they're going to go back for the knock-on advantage. I think it was a knock-on advantage, or we're going back for the line-out for Australia. We're watching replays, yeah, so I'll let you know what the decision is as soon as... And now we've got an aerial of the Aviva. I mean, it's a gorgeous stadium. It is a phenomenal stadium. 65% possession in the last 10 minutes. Ireland have really upped the ante recently, but Wallabies, to be fair, are holding on. 8 points the difference at the moment. Not a runaway by any means. A converted try puts them 1 point behind. We've got an HIA, I think, yeah, one of the Australian medics are on. Yeah, so head knock, not entirely sure who's been replaced. It's Felipe Dalguna who's going to go off, which means you'll probably see Andrew Kellaway onto the park. So he's going to go down the tunnel for an HIA. And we'll probably see the youngster. Look what it means to him. They needed something. They were searching, but they just couldn't really find a point of difference. And there it is. They've just found it. Spiral bomb once again from Sam Prendergast. Then the cross kick. Runs in as Tommy O'Brien. And yet we are having a look. We are having a look here. This might yet be chalked off. What are we looking at? So I think we're looking over here. Was there a knock-on? I thought there was a knock-on here from... So it goes through the hands of Max Jorgensen. I think there's a knock-on there from James Lowe, to be honest. I think it's going to get chalked off when we go back for a scrum. Yeah, there is a knock-on from James Lowe. So we are going to go back, and it's going to get chalked off. It will not count. You can see the frustration there from Sam Prendergast. It was a really good intervention from him. And the game remains alive with 20 minutes to go. Well, that's his last. It would have been his a pretty good way to go out, but Sam Prendergast's going to make way. Jack Crowley's going to see out the last 20. Applauds the crowd on the way back out. Decent game from him, though. He's a good player, Sam Prendergast. I just think that he just needs to have a bit of pressure taken off him and just let him grow. I don't mind them backing him during the Six Nations, but I think at times where if it's a big game, back Jack Crowley. I think he's just a more complete player, more reliable player at the moment. Now, Crowley, both of them sporting a bit of a mullet at the moment. So Prendergast has had his go. What can Jack Crowley conjure up with his opportunity? Right, so scrum, it is an Australian scrum, well, it's actually an Irish scrum, inside Australia territory, pretty much in the middle of the park, just beyond the 22. Big opportunities from Ireland. And they do get the penalty. Now, decision time here. 8 point the lead. They go to the corner. Do they take the 3 points? I think they're going to take the 3 points. They are going to take the 3 points. That makes sense. Get yourself up 25 points to 14. 11 points the difference. Then you can start looking to build a lead. But at the moment, you don't want to... you don't want to risk a comeback here. You don't want to risk yourself being in a situation where there's even a chance of them coming back. So I think this is the safe play going for the 3 points. Yeah, it's inside 22. It's pretty straightforward. Jack Crowley, 20 meters is the distance. Should have no issue whatsoever slotting this. And as does have no issue. Right, so the flags go up. To the right-hand side. Right, Australia have to score quickly if they're going to stand a chance here. 11-point game. Crowley almost caught in the ball. Nice tackle that coming from Cortazano. Goes to the boot. That Gibson Park. Not a lot of distance there. Killaway. James Lowe takes it well up the air. Gibson Park. Short dead from Kellen Doris. And eventually gets it down to the ground. Working hard there was Thomas Clarkson. Now Crowley looking for distance. I tell you what, it's almost very, very, very good. O'Connor goes to the boot. Slightly too overcooked there. Jack Crowley on it, underneath it. Gives it inside to Karen Doris. Big hit coming down on Andrew Porter. So the Wallabies defense is starting to look a bit better, yeah? They need the ball, though. That's the biggest problem. They need the ball. Crowley goes to the left-hand side. Killaway's there. Killaway takes it well, but smashed by Ty Byrne. Loses the ball. Kicked it behind from Jorgensen. And going back, I think potentially offside is the call. Yeah, offside is the call. And I think it's against Ireland, so it should be a penalty here for Australia. Bundyaki never onside, retreat. Yeah, that's good call. Good right call from the referee. So James O'Connor to the corner they go. They could also think about taking the 3 points. It doesn't really make much sense, though, because you get yourself with an 8 points, which is, whereas you go can score a converted try here, you're 4 points behind. That means that an unconverted try, has he overcooked this? He's kicked it dead. Has he? No, he's not. He's nailed it. He's absolutely nailed it, has James O'Connor. All over the top, straight into the hands of Caelan Doris. How bad have these lineouts been? That is... I think they've lost more or less 60% of their lineouts as James Lowe pins them back. Kellaway pops it up to Harry Potter. Right, let's see if these two can combine. Kellaway down the left-hand side. Chip over the top for Jorgensen. And Jorgensen just volleys it ahead. I tell you what, if this stays in... That could have been very, very interesting. Not a good kick at all. Jorgensen not much on, so he just basically put it to the boot. And if that had stayed in, that could have been an interesting foot race. Good tackers. Nice first touch from Jorgensen. Six lineouts lost by Australia. That is shambolic. You cannot win matches if you're losing 6 lineouts. That is horrendous. Absolutely atrocious. Front foot ball there from Caelan Doris. Wallabies need a turnover ball here. Fraser McWright lurking. Need a good exit here to Ireland. Gibson Park looking to provide it. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Craig Casey coming on pretty shortly. Always so calm and always finds a good clearance, does Gibson Park. Just such a reliable player. You just know you're getting a good, 8, 9 out of 10 from him every single week. Well, no one really picked it up. Jorgensen sees a bit of space. Right into the hands of Mac Hansen. Very well positioned, man. Hansen goes to the boot. Jorgensen's dropped back well, though. Now low, looking for options. And Kitaway, a bit of kick tennis at the moment. And gotten a little bit right as James Lowe. It's bounced. Now he's looking for touch. And it'll stay into James O'Connor. James O'Connor maybe looking to run himself. Pops it up to Jorgensen, chip over the top. Gibson Park is there, though. Shows the dummy. Goes to the boot himself, does Gibson Park. Oh, I'll tell you what, that needs to hit. That needs to hit something. Is it going to slow up? Is it going to keep going? All the way back. Harry Potter's going to dot this down. Well chased up from Gibson Park. Frustrating from the Wallabies, being pinned back so far deep. And just not really managing to progress up the park. It's a great kick, though, from Gibson Park. Well, over the top there from Crowley, though, from the 22-meter restart. And goes up. Hansen wins it back. To the right-hand side. Gibson Park. Goes himself. Does... look like Ryan Beard there. Now Bundy Aki flings it out wide. Around the outside. James Lowe. Good tackle coming from Andrew Kellaway. Up against the touchline. Good hands. Hands. Crowley goes himself. Gibson Park looking for options, pops it short. Killer Hayes just short. Just short, y'all. Island. Searching. Just short again. Gibson Park, will he snipe himself? No, he goes to Ty Byrne. Ty Byrne met well. Wallabies desperately holding on. Big counteract, but still with Ireland. Facing me right. Nope, doesn't come away with the ball there. Andrew Porter just short. Good defense from the Wallabies. Gibson Park wants options. Flings it out to Caelan Doris. Caelan Doris! Dots down, and that should be that. It had to break eventually. It was just too much pressure at the end of the day on the Wallabies. And that is probably the game then, as Ireland bring up 30, and it's Caelan Doris, the captain. All comes back to that Mac Hansen challenge in the air. They've won the aerial battle, have Ireland. You win the aerial battle, it goes such a long way towards winning the game. You look at the box, for example, and that was one of the big things they did well today. How's that? The first time Ireland have ever scored 30 points against Australia. And Jack Crowley, that's a fantastic kick from the touchline. Splits the pole. Oh, no, hang on. Are we going to go back and look at something now? We might have us chalked out again. Potential foul play. No, the trial will stand. It's actually looking at foul play from Australia. So maybe they're going to go back. We could see a card here. How's that for doubling the woes? Oh dear, off the ball as well. Nick Frost is hammered into, looks like Clarkson, I think it is. Where's that contact? Is that shoulder to head contact? Could be in big trouble, yeah. Right, yellow card just to rub it in at this stage. And a bunker check here from Australia. So Australia down to 40 men for the last 10 minutes. Frustration there from Nick Frost. He'll go in, it'll be under review in the bunker. It won't really affect this result though, or this game, because he'll be out for the rest of it, regardless of whether he gets a yellow or a red. And could Ireland yet run a little bit of riot? And they go quite short, and Lowe gets hammered in the tackle. I want to go check what my prediction was for this game, because I might actually have got something here. I've not had a particularly good weekend. And how's France going there against Fiji? France 27, 34 points to 21. So it looks like they're going to get over the line over there. User as the call, Craig Casey onto the park as well. I said 31 points to 18 for France versus Fiji. That's not looking terrible, actually, at 34 points to 21. I said 40 points to 15. Oh, come on, score another converted try. And then I'll have absolutely nailed it. I called a close result between Wales. I called an England result. Actually, did I call? No, I called an England loss. So I've not done phenomenally well there. Right, there goes Matt Canson to thunderous applause and what was definitely probably a man of the match performance, yep. Right, and also plays to come off for Australia. So Ryan Lonergan's on. That's a great line being run. I don't need another Australia try. I need another Ireland try. And then I've nailed that prediction. Tane Edmund on as well. Ikatal. Good read there from Bandiaki on Andrew Kellaway. Penalty for the Wallabies. Going over the feet. Tane Edmund goes to the corner. No, I don't need a Wallabies try. I need an Ireland try. 39 points to 14 is pretty close to 40 points to 15, which is what I called. Harry Wilson at the front of the line out. Once is the call from the referee. Still going now. There's the penalty advantage. Caelan Doris going to collapse that. So free roll the dice here ready for the Wallabies. New advantage. Tackle back into the ruck is Tom Robertson. Slow ball here for Ryan Lonergan. He's searching for the ball. And they'll go back for the penalty. Kim Prendergast there, just holding onto the ball whilst very much off his feet. Pick up and go, pick up and go, over they go. There goes my prediction, but the Wallabies do hit back through Billy Pollard, and there may be yet a little bit of life left in this game. They'll have to score again to give themselves a chance. But a conversion would put them within 9. I lied, put them 11 points behind. So they have to go bang, bang, and then maybe there's a chance of something. 10 Edmund, first kick of the match. 6 minutes to go, 32 points to 19, 32 points 22. If they score off the kicker, for example, and suddenly it's leading with 32 points to 29, for example, then game on. But you're going to have to get this with any chance of any sort of comeback. And not. Right, well, that's pretty much it, because even convert try takes to 26. Convert a try from 26 there. Look, two convert tries will still win them the game. It's 13 points, but you got to try and get 2 convert tries within 6 minutes. And unfortunately, I don't see it happening. John Joe Brown says, thanks for the commentary stream, you legend. Well, thank you for joining me, guys, and keep me company in this late kickoff. Five minutes to midnight, 5 minutes left of the game. Ball over the top. Suoli's going to give chase. Knock on advantage here for Ireland. Craig Casey. Long pass out wide. Gibson Park still in the park, by the way. Excuse the pun. So it looks like Gibson Park's gone to the wing. Now a bit of space for Craig Casey. Craig Casey. Low, trying to pop it up, but to nobody. They picked it up himself, actually, low. It's still available, says the referee. Craig Casey trying to secure the ball. Gibson Park there. Pick up and go from Tyke. That Tyke Furlong's back on the park. Look like Clarkson had to go off an HI after that hit. Remembering that the Wallabies are playing with 14 men at the moment. Crowley to Henshaw to Bandiaki. Absorbs the tackle. Looking for options, Bandiaki. Penalty for Ireland. And surely they'll go to the corner here and look for another try. To be fair, 39 points to 19. I think that's too bad, considering I went 40 points to 15 in my prediction. France, Fiji, still 34 points to 21. I should do nicely there. Got to try and get back to retake the lead. I was number 1 in our league for the score predictions. Now down to number 2. So not ideal. Not ideal. Right, and just over 3 minutes left to go. Ireland on the doorstep. Craig Casey. Bandiaki shows and goes. Bandiaki just short. Craig Casey, go short. I don't think there's grounding. No, there is grounding. The referee has seen grounding, and Ireland hit back. And another try. Well, it's been a high-scoring affair. Patrick says, help Ella from Ireland, Patrick O'Brien. How are you doing, lads? Respect to you, lads, South Africa. Yeah, appreciate we're going to see you next week, Patrick. And see how things go. Looking forward to that clash. It's going to be absolutely epic next weekend. And yeah, let's just hope that the clash lives up to the billing. That's the only thing I really want, to see a clash to live up to the billing. Ryan Bear, the man who scored the try. What a player he's become. Very, very important part of this Irish side. Bit of a sketchy kickoff there. Kalen Doris does win it back with a lock-on advantage. Less than 2 minutes left on the clock. And the man himself, Peter Marnie, in attendance. He'll be very chuffed with what he's seen tonight. Doffs his cap to the Irish crowd. In terms of the MVP, I mean, I think you can't really look much further than Mac Hansen, can you? I mean, a hat trick is pretty decisive. So that would be my guess. Penalty advantage for Ireland. Bandiaki. Long pass out Jack Crowley. Gibson Park playing on the wing now. Gibson Park brings in James Lowe. James Lowe runs in. Surely must be penalty advantage. Craig Casey. Yup, advantage over. Crowley. Ball behind to Henshaw. Past the 10-meter line from Henshaw. Craig Casey looking for options as the clock ticks down. Final 10 seconds. Crowley goes to the cross kick. There's plenty of space out wide. Gathers it, does. Ronan Keller here. Goes himself. Oh, look at the pace from Ronan Keller here. Into the 22 he goes. Craig Casey to Ty Furlong. Furlong pops it up to Jack Crowley. Loses the ball. Backwards is the call from the referee to Gibson Park. Gibson Park goes for the cross kick. Will Henshaw get there? Henshaw will get there. And Henshaw will go into the corner. Well, how's that for a way to finish? A record victory. Over 40 points goes Ireland. The perfect way to finish. And that was a demolition in the end. Well, people, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a long evening. It's been a fun evening. It's been a fun day of rugby, an interesting day of rugby. And big shout out to all of you guys for sticking around and being a part of it all. We've almost gotten past that big 99,000 subscribers, which means this time next week, when we go to take on Ireland, we will hopefully be pushing for that 100,000 subscriber mark, which would be pretty cool if we can get it during that stream. So thank you very much, people. Keep well, keep safe. Just the kick to come. Please do make sure you subscribe on the way out and let me know what you thought of the game and what your thoughts are of the day as well. So the final act over here is Jack Crowley. Will he manage to slot it? Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. He does. So final score, 46 points to 19. Back to the drawing board for Australia. Ireland march on and take a lot of confidence into the game against the Box next week. Thank you very much, people. Keep well, keep safe, and we'll see you all soon.